The principles in 2 Kings chapter 4 from verse 1 to 7, which we at Berean Workshop are exploring. Principles that allowed a widow who was in debt, but by verse 7 had enough money to pay off her creditors and had enough to live on without dependence. A miracle of multiplication occurs in the story, but only after certain steps are taken. Multiplication, God's role, but the steps to this increase are ours. Certain rules that prompt the action of the Lord. Paul alludes to this in Corinthians. I planted, Apollos watered, but God made it grow. The principles are academic, but are set in the fabric of life by God himself. Just like 1 plus 1 is always 2. Principles or laws always yield a definite outcome. God gives the increase only after we play a definite role. The account in 2 Kings 4 in the first verse begins with a woman crying out to Elisha. Principle number 1, know who to talk to. Elisha, as mentioned previously, was a man who had a background in farming. He was familiar with the concepts of sowing and reaping, seed time and harvest. A man who had served under someone else for a period of time and was currently at the forefront of his industry, the prophet in Israel. You're looking for a vetted person, a proven track record, references, a coach, a mentor, or even a paid professional. Pharaoh in Genesis 41 had to employ Joseph to resolve an impending dead situation, the 7 years of famine. So get the right people with the right story for the right solutions. Proverbs chapter 13 verse 14 declares, the teachings, that's the concept of the wise, is a fountain of life, that one may avoid the snares of death. Wisdom many times is associated with knowledge and experience. In the second verse, Elisha asks Mrs. Obadiah these 2 questions. What shall I do for you, and what do you have at home? Elisha's immediate response is not to give her a handout or ask for contributions from the rest of the school of the prophets or use his position to influence the creditors, but rather he changes the focus onto the woman. What do you have in your house? Proverbs 16:16 reads, how much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. What is important is the know-how. Broke and poor are not synonymous. A man with a know-how can have a temporary setback, being broke. He's resourceful, filled with wisdom. Not so much cash-focused, but asset-focused, wealth creation. Same concept. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. The focus needs to change from wage focus to wealth creation focus. We need to acquire the know-how on monetizing what we have at home. So second principle, get the know-how. Seek wisdom and understanding instead of gold or silver or just plain cash. Focus on increase instead of just immediate debt relief. Proverbs 13:22 states, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. We should be thinking of wealth that propagates itself so that we can be effective beyond catering for our immediate needs. Blessed to be a blessing.